This is an excellent question, and I'm sure that you are not the only one who has this question. So I'm glad you asked. They say that the journey of 1,000 steps begins with a mile. Actually, did you catch what I did? I switched it. It's really a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. But when it comes to any kind of skill set where there is a big, long learning curve, a lot of people think that it's only going to be 1,000 steps to the finish line. And a lot of people feel like that first step is a mile. And it's really not. So the good news is, relax. You're never going to be done learning. You'll be working on this the rest of your life. And even people who have been using the gear and all the things for 3 decades are still learning more new things every day. But also, the good news is that you really can take it little by little. And I've been having to get my feet wet because for years now, I've hired out all of my programming and all of my mixing. And I'm now at a place where I'm just doing it myself. I know how to do it, but that's kind of like saying I know how to row a canoe. Just because I know how to do it doesn't mean I'm good at it. So I used to be a lot better at it before I had a baby. Life took over. I couldn't sit at the gear for hours and hours. After all these years, I am finally back programming, which is something that I gave up with motherhood by choice. No regrets. That being said, I'm having to find things that I knew how to do a while back and relearn them or find where they even are, or how does it work now, or what are the new features. And so every time I'm sitting down to work, I'm learning something new. The other day I learned how to change the format on a whole Logic track. And, I had used the arpeggiator before, but I hadn't had to find it in a while, and I had to look up in the help menu, where do I get the arpeggiator again? God bless the smart people who make the YouTube tutorial videos. I would just say to you, sit down when you don't have a deadline, when you don't have a pressing urgency, when you have room to kind of play and just explore a little bit, and use little pockets of free time, even if it's just a half hour here and there, to explore the software and also look to references. Straight up copy things if you need to. My husband used to do karaoke tracks, and he hated it, and he was embarrassed that he was doing it. But at the end of that season, he realized it was like a masterclass in track production, because he was having to recreate the tracks for all of these top 40 radio hits. So then when songwriters wanted to hire him to help them demo their songs, he knew how to make them sound really radio ready, because he had been recreating all of these tracks for karaoke work. The money was terrible, but he had to learn how to work fast, and he had to reconstruct all of these hits. So you can straight up copy things just for the sake of learning. I talk about reverse engineering a lot. You can do that. You could take another song, lay it in your Logic session, and then straight up build a new track with all of the same points in the arrangement. When does it build up? When does it break down? When does it transition from one section to the next? What is the drum groove? What is the drum pattern? You can't copyright a drum groove. Or learn how to use the drummer tracks or the drum loops. I mean, my goodness, technology is more on your side than ever before in human history. So technology is great until it's not. I'll admit, yesterday I lost about an hour to troubleshooting the Logic glitches, but it's still pretty great compared to when I started school. When I was in my master's program, we were still working on reel-to-reel tapes, and the computers only did MIDI. There was no audio. You didn't record any audio to your hard drive, and all the samples lived in outboard gear. That's how old I am. So, we have to learn anyway, because the gear changes, the technology changes. So you will constantly be learning new things. Just set the goal to learn one new thing each time you sit down to work. Have patience with yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And even if you only learn 15% of the capabilities of your gear, you can do a lot with that. Good luck.